Okay, so now this webinar is being recorded, the Master of Science in Analytics. Thank you to those who have joined. My name is William Schwerin. I am a part of the Viterbi Admission and Student Engagement Office here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering, specifically for our graduate programs, Master's and PhD specifically. And so welcome to Southern California. I'm sitting here in my office. You can't see it, but it's a beautiful sunny day outside. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening here. And I want to welcome those of you from the other parts of the world and let you know that it is beautiful here in Southern California. Our university is a private institution. We're located in Los Angeles. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the university and engineering school, and then I'll let the professor take it away. So within Los Angeles, we're very close to downtown Los Angeles, and we're a leading private research institution in the United States. We're actually the oldest private institution, as it says there, on the West Coast. We were founded back in 1880. Very diverse student population, something we're very proud of, and 23 academic schools and divisions, which includes obviously the Viterbi School of Engineering. One thing about the university, which I think is actually really cool and really unique, is that while we are a private institution, our total student population is roughly around 44,000 students. We actually have more graduate students at the university than undergrads. Our graduate student population is about 24,000 students. So that's combined master's and PhD students. So I like to tell, when I meet students, prospective students, you're walking on campus, you have at least a 50% chance that somebody walking across the quad is a graduate student, which is unique, I think, for a lot of institution for our institution, which is really nice. So our graduate student population is very strong. A little bit more about Los Angeles. We counted, there's 292 sunny days out of the year, but it's just a really great city for a young person to experience, I feel like. It is a big city, so you definitely want to know what you're getting into ahead of time. If you are averse to big cities, you may want to just think about that. But Los Angeles is a big city, but it's an exciting city to be in. There's plenty of opportunities, not only within the university, but outside, just in Los Angeles in general, for you to do a plethora of activities that interest you. We are close to what's called Silicon Beach, which essentially the tech companies in Silicon Valley noticed the nice property near the beach down here, and they invested and opened up offices down along the coast here in Southern California. And so we are fairly close to that Silicon Beach area. In terms of proximity to other major big cities, the San Francisco Bay Area is about a 6-hour car ride or a 1-hour flight. San Diego is about 2 hours south of us. Las Vegas, that's about 3 to 4 hours by car. So there's a lot near us. And one of the things that is great is that the engineering coming out of Los Angeles is greater than any city in the US. Our school is the Viterbi School of Engineering. I have a couple of slides that I'll go through. Just if you like rankings, we're currently ranked 12th by US News and World Reports for graduate schools for engineering and computer science in the US. And we typically bounce in and out of the top 10, I would say. So some years will be within the top 10, some other years will be outside of the top 10, but always within the top 15 generally. Some key technology focus areas that just we want to kind of touch on: AI, robotics, quantum information science. These are all really hot areas that the university attracts students to learn more about. We have great faculty in these areas as well. But you're here for the MS in Analytics, so I don't want to disregard that. And a little bit about our student diversity. We're very proud, not only at the university level, but within the School of Engineering as well. I want to say recently we have students from at the graduate engineering level, 65 or more countries, which is great. And we definitely strive to be a national and international leader in diversity and graduate engineering. Okay, so some demographic info, similar to at the university level, where we have more graduate students than undergrads. The same goes for the engineering school, the Viterbi School of Engineering, where we have more graduate students than undergrads. We have roughly 5,500, and that's a combination of masters and PhD. We have about 1,000 PhD students, and the remaining balance are our master's student population. Not all of which are actually on-campus students. About a quarter of our master's student population are working professionals in the US earning their degree online. Okay, the Viterbi School is actually named after an engineer, Dr. Andrew Viterbi. He earned his PhD in electrical engineering back in the early 1960s from USC, and he actually coined what's called the Viterbi algorithm. So if you have a cell phone, my understanding is that it will filter out external interference to allow you to have a clear, crisp phone call if you're speaking with someone. Within the engineering school, we have 8 academic departments. And my next slide, I'll go through the departments just briefly so you can see. Within the departments at the graduate level, 70 master's programs and 13 PhD programs. Okay, so there are opportunities to really specialize in a particular area. For example, the reason why you're here is to learn more about one of these areas, the MS in analytics within our industrial and systems engineering department. There you see our 8 academic departments listed here. Okay, our 2 largest departments, I will say, are computer science and electrical engineering. They make up the majority of our engineering students here. Okay, so I've spoken enough. I want to hand it off to our speaker today, our faculty speaker, Professor Cesar Acosta Mejia. Professor, take it away. I'll be happy to advance the slides when you need me to.
Okay, thank you very much, William. And very nice to meeting with all of you. Thank you for having interest in our master's program. Let me tell you that our department has several master's programs. I'm talking about the Industrial and Systems Engineering department. And the Master's in Analytics is the newest one. It was created in 2015, and we have been growing and growing year after year. For the current academic year, that is 2021 and 2022, we received more than 150 graduate students for our program, that is Masters in Analytics. From this number, a small fraction of which is taking our program online. That is, almost all the students are on campus nowadays. It is a very diverse student body. We have students from very different majors, as I am going to discuss that in a moment. So what is the Masters in Analytics about? So our master's program is oriented to graduates looking for a career in analytics and data science. And the point is that analytics and data science share a lot of topics together. In fact, it is very common that some graduates from analytics looks to transition into data science, and the reverse is also true. There are some students that graduated from data science and they wanted to transition to analytics. So if you are interested in these areas, this is the master's program. The students in our program are trained in advanced machine learning and statistical learning methods. The idea is that they are to discover hidden and meaningful information from the data to solve complex problems. Most of those problems are business-oriented in our program. The program provides background, concepts, computational skills, and projects related to data science and analytics in different areas that may be of your interest. These are focus areas that we describe in a moment when we review our program. We have courses that are some of them electives in financial analytics, business intelligence, text analytics, consulting data analytics, and more. Please, next slide. So this is our program, and the program is made of 10 courses of 3 units each. So the students have to take the foundational courses, which are the first four, making up 12 units. That is DSCI 559 and ISE 529, predictive analytics, optimization method for analytics, and data mining. Then the students have to take one course from group A and two courses from group B. The courses in group A are courses oriented to have a term project or capstone project. For example, in ISE 533, the students have to develop or to complete 4 final projects. And this course is mostly oriented to research. The course in 534 is a course in data analytics consulting. So the instructor is a consultant, and the students are supposed to solve a real problem by interacting with a client. And ISE 580 is a course that I hope will be converted. The name of this course can be converted into prescriptive analytics, which is a course in which the models are used to evaluate different sets of decisions to obtain different results, so that the client should be able to select the best course of action. And the courses in group B are mostly oriented to the choice of the student. The student chooses different areas to specialize. Some students would like to specialize in financial analytics, maybe because they have a finance background. Some other students would like to investigate about text analytics because their background is more computer science oriented. And some students may want to investigate how analytics can be applied onto business settings, and they may want to take a course in decision analysis. Or if you are mostly mathematical oriented, then you may want to get into 538 performance analysis using Markov models. So overall, they have to take 10 courses, 7 of which are required, 1 from group A, 2 from group B, and 4 are the fundamental courses. But in addition, the students have to take elective courses, and they are allowed to take 1 ISE elective, that is 1 elective from our department, and 2 additional electives, which are free electives. Free electives are courses that the student may choose from our department or from any other department at USC. For example, computer science department, for example, a business from the Marshall School of Business. They may want to take, for example, marketing analytics from the marketing department, and so on. Next slide, please. So these are this is a set of courses that is a sample of ISE elective courses. The student may choose to take financial analytics, text analytics, enterprise BI, machine learning, enterprise-wide information systems, or sometimes the students want to do some type of research, and so they join us in ISE 590, which is directed research. But the students may also take electives from other departments like computer science or data science and operations or other USC school. One of the popular USC school is Marshall School of Business. Next slide, please. So this is a list of some popular non-ISE elective courses. The students may want to take courses from computer science, foundations of data mining, applied natural language processing, deep learning, or analysis of algorithms, or maybe they want to investigate how to deal with databases, how to design and modify databases. Well, there is a long list of computer science courses that they can choose from. Or if they want to take courses from data science and operations from Marshall School of Business, some popular courses are data warehousing and business intelligence, or statistical computing, data visualization. Data visualization is a popular course, or marketing analytics, fraud analytics, or maybe apply time series if they are interested in forecasting applications. Next slide, please. So the course is a 3 semester program, but usually it can be extended to 4 semesters. The basic idea here is if the student comes to our program and has the idea of upon graduation to stay in the US doing some internship or maybe working a full-time job, they probably would like to extend to 4 semesters if that allows them to have more time to find the internship or full-time job. The program, as I mentioned, is made of 10 courses, 3 units each. That means 30 credit units. And the students can, and they are strongly advised to take summer internships before graduation. That is, after 1 year of courses or coursework in our program. We have, this number is actually, should be 150 plus admitted students during the current academic year. And the program is not thesis oriented, so thesis is not required. Next slide, please.
I think that's.
So this is the master's application requirement. And as I mentioned before, our student body is very diverse. We have students from different majors, undergraduate majors, from social sciences, finance, information systems, information technology, engineering, math, statistics, or other science. So I want to stress this point because it's very common that students ask me if they can apply, if they come from those areas, and the answer is absolutely yes. This is not a program for focusing on engineering applications only, or mathematical foundations only, or statistics. In fact, the largest portion of our program is from social sciences, as I described. William?
Yes. Okay, so thank you so much, Professor. I had a couple questions. One that came through the Q&A, but first I wanted to, going back to this side briefly, if you don't mind, the summer internships, can you name, just off the top of your head, maybe some areas or some companies that students have received summer internships?
Well, there are many. Students have had internships in, for example, in, for some reason, they like a lot going to tech companies or fintech companies, and many of them go to San Francisco area. They find an internship in Microsoft, in Google, in Amazon, or Uber. It depends on what their interest is. Some other students' interest is more focused on consulting. And in consulting, I have students working in Deloitte, in EY, Ernst & Young, PwC. Of course, that depends on their background and their interest. And most of those students are working in the Los Angeles area. As you know, our campus is located at the heart of Los Angeles. We are in a close distance to downtown, and headquarters of most consulting companies is in that location. So students are sometimes are willing to work on consulting, and they search for those kinds of industry. We also have students from engineering background. I have students working at Tesla. I have students working in different startups, especially in the area of fintech. So it's a very diverse student body, and with different interests and area of specialization.
That's so great. And I think that's so important too, because I know that that's one area that students always ask us is, okay, well, what kind of internship can I get? what kind of company can I get an internship? And so just hearing that is very reassuring to know that these students are getting, internships at really great top companies. Thank you for answering that. I'm going to move on, and then we'll answer some of the Q&As that are rolling in, because I do want to have time for that at the end. So as the professor mentioned, in terms of application background, one note I'll go over is official transcripts. You don't have to mail anything to us. This is a Viterbi School kind of exception that we have with our graduate admissions office. We do need you to obtain your official transcripts and scan them and upload them into the online application, however. Okay, resume or CV and personal statement are required. For this program, letters of recommendation, do you know, Professor, are they just recommended? I feel like they're required for this program.
No,
check.
for our program, they are not required, but they are highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Okay.
It can help if the student has an excellent GPA or GRE. Well, the student is going to be accepted for sure. But if the student does not have GPA, undergraduate GPA or GRE, who is at the top, let's say top 5% or top 10%, the letters of recommendation may help a lot. So in that case, we always suggest to submit.
Great. Yeah, and actually, in terms of GRE, as of September 7th, the GRE scores are not required. So I just want to let everyone out there know. For international students joining, we do require the TOEFL or IELTS still. So those scores will still be required at the time of the admission or time of application. In terms of application deadlines, these are our application deadlines. We're now shifting gears to our fall application deadline, which is upcoming. There you see January 15th is the final deadline. We do have an earlier deadline of December 15th for those who want to be considered. Now we have within the engineering school some limited merit-based scholarships that are offered. So you must apply by that December 15th deadline, have all your application materials submitted by then. And then what happens is if you're admitted, you're notified by our admissions office and you're asked to interview, basically. And then a scholarship committee will review the interviews. Okay. Tuition. So as the professor noted, this is a 30-unit program, which is 10 courses. The slide that I have here, the examples for a 28-unit program, so just kind of keep that in mind. The way that USC charges tuition is on a per unit basis, okay? And there you see at the bottom, it says the 2021 to 2022 academic year rate is $2,199 per unit, okay? So you can do the math. That amount times the 30 units will give you a rough estimate of the total cost of tuition for the entire degree, okay? Just keep in mind that annually the university does increase tuition slightly, so that's why I say roughly give you a ballpark cost. I mentioned scholarships and funding, so just know that at the master's level, funding is very limited. We do have these merit-based awards available. They're partial scholarships. This first one, the Dean's Scholarship, covers anywhere from, I'd say, 1 to maybe 3 classes. But it's open to everyone. Doesn't matter if you're in the US, outside the US. Now we do have endowed scholarships, which are great. These are provided and supported by donors. So sometimes they do have specific areas that they're looking for to award. So just kind of keep that in mind. This Dennett Viterbi Scholarship. So we have our online program. The MS in Analytics, I don't believe is on the Dennett Viterbi, but this is for our online students, the working professionals who are earning their degree. I'll talk about Dennett Viterbi briefly. We have 45 of our master's programs, 45 plus, available through this online program. Essentially, it's the on-campus lecture streamed live over the internet for working professionals. Students in this program are earning their degree in a much slower pace than someone who is on campus, because they are typically working full-time jobs and then taking one course, 1 to 2 courses max. So it does take a little while longer compared to someone on campus who can earn their degree in 2 years or less. Internships and careers. Professor stated and talked about some of the internships and areas that his students have gone on, which is great. On each of our degree program pages, we have on our website, a very thorough website. We have specific pages for each of the specializations. And I just want to let you know that when students graduate, unfortunately, our career office does not place students into positions. So we have to kind of manually track them, and we send out surveys, and based on the responses, that's how we create the data for our facts and figures section of our website. I will say that at the university level and also within the engineering school, we do have career centers for students. So these career offices, both at the university level and within the engineering school, they host career fairs twice a year, once every semester. So once in the fall, once in the spring. So our engineering students actually have 4 career fairs throughout the year to attend. And a lot of students go to these fairs. Not all get jobs through these fairs. We definitely encourage networking. Students get jobs and internships and a variety of other factors. But the nice thing about these career centers and career offices is they do host workshops. So for example, salary negotiation, interview preparation, they can help you with your resume. The staff that work at these centers are there to assist our students. And I always encourage our students to take advantage of this, the help that the staff can provide. Okay, some frequently asked questions. Are TA and RAs available for master's students? Well, these are reserved for our PhD students. They're very limited at the master's level. There you see, I think maybe Professor added this, you must get an A in the course for the TA, but it's very rare for RAs. We tell students, don't rely or expect to rely on getting something like that. And as a non-engineering major, how can I know if I'm eligible? Well, as the professor stated, the MS in analytics requires to have an undergraduate course in calculus, programming, or statistics, and statistics. But most of the students come from non-engineering backgrounds: econ, finance, business, information systems, math, and also, of course, engineering. On our website, we have a really great resource available. It's a little bit hidden, but we do have current graduate students who've been in your position before. They are volunteering for us now as graduate students. They're our student ambassadors. They're there to answer questions that you may have about student life, what it's like in Los Angeles. So I definitely encourage you to take some time, if you have a moment, to chat with some of our student ambassadors, because they're really great resources. And you're hearing from a peer-to-peer level, which is always nice. And then some general resources. You can take a picture if you have a phone of some of these URLs, but we have a number of, as I mentioned, a lot of content on our website. So I definitely encourage you to take time to go through it. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to send you links to any of these pages on our website if you're looking for something specifically. Contact information, Professor was kind enough to leave his contact information, so I definitely encourage you to take a screenshot or a snapshot of this. You see his email and his office location in the Gerontology Building, 216, as well as his background in his faculty directory page. Okay, so we've gone through the presentation. Thank you so much. I do want to open it up to questions. It looks like we have some questions in here, so I will go ahead and take a look. So in terms of, let me see, I'll answer this one. What is the acceptance rate? What is an estimate of scholarships that an average student can expect upon admission? We tell students, it's always nice to get the scholarship, but it is very, very a challenging process. Less than 5% of the students end up getting a scholarship. In terms of acceptance rate, that's data that we don't actually publish, so I won't be able to share that with you. But it is, very competitive. We've received, thousands of applications a year. But we tell students, don't self-select yourself out, because you never know, whether or not you're admissible in our admissions eyes. Do we have to apply for scholarships separately? And if you can also let us know the results of scholarships. Yeah, so the scholarships, all you have to do is submit your online application by the December 15th deadline, okay? Our graduate admissions office, if you're admitted, will notify you that you're under consideration for scholarship, and they'll send you an invitation for an interview, okay? So there's no separate portal prior to applying that you need to let us know. You're letting us know by applying by that December 15th deadline, okay? And then if you're admitted, as I mentioned, our admissions office will reach out to you. You can tell them that you're not interested, that's fine, or decline to interview. It's really up to you. So we tell students, yeah, just apply by that December 15th deadline. Okay, if you have any other questions, it looks like we do have some open, so.
Okay, William, let
Yes.
me clarify a point.
Please.
I have had some questions related to the different programs that are offered at USC. Our program is the Master's in Analytics, but there are other programs related to data science and analytics that are offered in our university. Most common are the Master's in Applied Data Science from Computer Science and the Master's in Business Analytics from the Marshall School of Business. And students usually ask me about what's the difference between those programs and our program. In fact, the question is, what is actually the difference between business analytics, our program analytics, and the other program related to data science? And the answer is the following. The Master's in Business Analytics is a Master's in Analytics where the focus is on business applications. So most of their examples, projects, and cases and readings are business related. In addition, that program, the students from business usually have limited experience in software. So most of their experience is related to, for example, spreadsheets or add-ins, or in some cases, Tableau. In our program, we try to make a balance on 3 areas. The area of computer science or computer programming, the area of math and statistics, and the area of business domain. And so we claim that we have courses in those 3 areas, and those courses are balanced. In the case of the Master's in Business Analytics, for example, the students in that program have limited exposure to very powerful tools that can be used to develop very complex models, especially if we talk about in the area of deep learning or in the area of machine learning. Sometimes students just want to stay away from those applications, or maybe about databases or data warehousing. So those are more technical areas that are usually reserved for data science. And so the exposure is limited. And I would say that in business in analytics, the most used computational tool is, in addition to Microsoft Excel, is R programming language, R. In computer science, data science program, they have a strong set of courses, in which they review strong computational tools. But their focus is primarily on Python. There are many students that are used to use JavaScript, Java, or other related tools. In our program, as I said, we focus on a balance. We have our students are are going to learn Python, R for sure. And depending on the electives that they choose to take, they learn SAS. Of course, they learn SQL and NoSQL for data management. And if they choose to take enterprise-wide information systems, they also learn SAP. So as you can see, the number of tools that they learn in our program is larger than the ones that they learn in data science. Most of the applications in data science here at USC are applications related to artificial intelligence. And that is not exact, not all the, is not always a business application. So I hope that clarifies, and if not, let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That is a question that came in, so I was glad you were able to address that. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, well, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to ask. In terms of, is interview required? No, interview is not required. You just need to apply. And I think in terms of what we're looking for in an applicant, you know, I can go back to the slide in terms of application background.
I think I have a slide about that. Maybe you can go back to.
Yeah. This would it, this one?
This, no, I believe is the previous one. No. Well, anyway, let me tell you. So what we are looking for an applicant is, in addition to the applicant scores and letters of recommendation, all the package, what we expect is that the student, before arrival, have had an undergraduate course in statistics, in calculus, and one programming language, whatever programming language is, but at least one programming language. So if the student has background in statistics and calculus, then we can talk about how to do optimization. And that is very important in data science and analytics. If the student has had a course in programming, it will be easy to transition to a different programming language. And as I mentioned before, Python and R are two languages that we are going to deal with throughout that program. Now, if they have some background in business, finance, marketing, economics, that's okay. That's okay, because that background, if the student does not have a background in those areas, they can, without much effort, they can overcome that lack of background and they can catch up and get it. So that is not a concern. The concern is mainly to have exposure, to have previous exposure to statistics, calculus, and programming. And that's all we require. In addition, we require that you have a good GPA, a good GRE score. If I am not sure if this year we are going to review GRE scores.
We are not, yeah.
Not yet. Okay, and that's all. That's all what we require.
Great, thank you. Someone asked, can you please expand on? Oops, I just lost it. On previous consulting projects, which were part of ISC 534.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is a course on consulting. The instructor invites a client. The client has a problem. It usually, I mean, every different semester, we have every different client. And the client has a problem. And the students are supposed to work in groups, and each group is supposed to address the problem in a different way. And the problem is going to change 1 year to the next year. But most of them are business-oriented type of problems. They have to deal with the data collection and then the data analysis, data modeling, and at the end they have to do a couple of presentations and they have to provide a report what they found in their work. So that is basically the course in consulting ISE 534.
Thank you. Does work experience play a role at all or any value?
Well, yeah, of course, work experience is always a plus, but the points that I mentioned before cannot be substituted. So it's important, yes, it helps a lot, but we definitely have some requirements and especially for admission, they are critical.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question came in, I can answer this one. Can one student apply for multiple courses available in USC, for example, MS in Analytics, MS in Data Science? So yeah, you can actually apply for up to 2 programs for one application fee. There are instructions on our website on how to do that. If you want, I'll leave my email in the chat. And actually, please say if you want the instructions to the slide or to the, we have a PDF explaining kind of how to apply to multiple programs. Send me an email and I'm happy to send that to you. Let's see, another question about courses in calculus and algebra in undergrad, but not statistics. But given work experience in consulting for 2 years, I have working knowledge and fair exposure of statistics. Could it compensate for lack of statistics in undergrad?
Well, that's something that we have to review once we receive your application package. It depends on, I mean, I strongly suggest you to describe your experience in your statement, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to address this application.
Yeah, that's a great point. The personal statement is really your area to paint the picture outside of your transcript. So talk about your interest in the program. You can talk about your work experience, because that's not going to necessarily show for our admissions rep who are just looking at the transcripts. So in the personal statement, you can explain that, future career plans, any aspects of your background that can aid in evaluating your aptitude and motivation for this program. Well, if, let me see. So I had a question come in about the GRE scores being submitted. Yeah, we're not going to be reviewing the GRE scores.
I just want to let you know that when the time comes for GRE to be considering applications, our focus is in the quantitative portion of the GRE. Usually we do not focus on the other sections.
That's a good point. Yeah, quantitative and verbal. Obviously the quantitative, if you're going into a program in analytics, you should be expected to be strong on the quantitative side. So thank you for adding that. And that is in this GRE decision is kind of a semester to semester decision. So while next fall, it is not required, it can change for the following spring. So just kind of keep your eyes on our website for any information about that.
Now, let me add a point here. Sometimes students have a strong background and they satisfy all our requirements and they are accepted right away. But sometimes the students are at the boundary between acceptance or rejection. And for those cases, If the student has had a GRE score, then it may be the difference between accepting or rejecting. So the GRE is not a critical criteria this time, but it always helps in the case that I mentioned. I have a student that says, will I be able to indicate that I will take statistics in the spring somewhere in the application? So I don't understand, what do you mean by taking statistics in the spring?
I think maybe they're planning
So that
to
is
graduate.
After submission of the package,
Right.
right? So yeah, you should do it. That is correct, because the transcript may be incomplete in that sense.
Yeah, so in a personal statement, that's an area where you can notify us that that is something that you're planning to pursue.
Now, work experience is not a requirement, and we have many students that arrive to our program upon graduation from their undergraduate major. So some students have no experience, or some students have a basic experience from undergraduate if they work on internships throughout their undergraduate program. And on the other hand, we have students that have a lot of experience. I have had students that take our program as a second master's program. I have had students that took our program as the third master's program. And so it is a wide diversity, as I mentioned before, and the work experience is, the range is very ample. So for the scholarships, they are pretty limited. I would not say that you rely on a scholarship, because the scholarships are awarded on a very competitive basis.
Yeah.
Some students are really outstanding, and of course, everybody would like to have a scholarship, but you should not rely on that. If you get it, that would be great, but don't expect that, don't say that if you get the scholarship, you will come. If you don't get the scholarship, you don't come. I don't think that is a good approach.
Yeah, I would agree. And we have a committee, scholarship committee, that reviews the scholarship interviews and then makes determination and awards based on that, to answer that question. What if I have an undergraduate from another country? I'm not sure I understand this question. I would ask to maybe rephrase if you can. This is a good question. I'm an international student who will graduate from a US college. Can the TOEFL requirement be waived? So potentially, yes. The requirements to have a TOEFL waived, if you earn your undergraduate degree from a US institution, you must have, and this is not something that our office, it's not something that our office determines. It's something at a higher level that just kind of the graduate school determines. If you've earned your undergraduate degree all 4 years, 4 or 5 years from a US institution as an international student, then you don't have to take the TOEFL. If you've only spent 2 years at a US institution, you will still be required to provide TOEFL. Hopefully that answers your question. I do want to wrap it up because we are kind of running close to the end here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I want to thank Professor Acosta Mejia for joining this afternoon and taking time out to talk more about this Master of Science in Analytics program. It's a really exciting program. I think it's a really, really unique program that has a lot of, it can touched a lot of different areas in industry, which is really nice. It's not too focused. So thank you, Professor, for joining. This webinar has been recorded and will be available on our website. We'll get it up, posted in the next few days on our website. So thank you, Professor, answering one last question that's coming in. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Professor. My email, again, I will leave it in the chat. It's just my last name at usc.edu. But I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation, this webinar now. Thank you, everyone, for joining, our attendees. And again, Professor, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, William, and thank you for everyone that was willing to come today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.